You got about 3 minutes till intro.
Hey, they haven't put the 20 minutes on the clock, so I don't know. It may be slightly different. We'll just kind of keep us floating right now.
Okay.
We're still floating here on time. They haven't started it.
Okay. Just let me know when they've started it, and we'll go from there.
And when they do, it'll just be 5 minutes from that point.
Right.
Five minutes from now.
So 48?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How much time do you have, Tiffany?
What playing?
Well, how much till the
Ryan
run?
said 5 minutes, so But what's playing, there's 40 seconds.
Okay, you're good. Thank you.
You got 20 till intro.
We're not going on the 48.
The intro's hitting at the 47, and you're going at the 48.
Thank you.
Starting intro now. $30. $10. $5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome, everyone, to Task Arena. Time for Hobbs Eagle playoff basketball. Live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Hobbs Eagles in the second round, the quarterfinals of the 5A State Boys Basketball Tournament here at Tasker. Ty friend Coach Brian Coltrane with you tonight as the Hobbs Eagles take you on Atrisco Heritage. This is going to be a big battle, Coach. Hobbs number 4 against the Jaguars number 5.
This is going to be an up and down game. Both teams like to get out there and run, get out in transition, and it's going to be one of them high-scoring games that Hobbs likes, but so does the opponent, Atrisco Heritage.
Yeah, they had to make a big road trip coming down here from Albuquerque, of course. They've only played about a couple of times outside of Albuquerque, including a Clovis tournament several months back. They also have a couple of teams in their district in Rio Rancho with Cleveland and Rio Rancho High School. I guess you call that a road trip. A couple of miles down the road there on the interstate, but still, they did have 3 games in Clovis. They did win that tournament down there as well. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But teams that come in here, are they ready to play in this type of situation? You just talked to a dad of one of the Atrisco players.
And you know what he said? He made the trip because he wanted to see a packed house. They're not used to playing in front of packed houses. He was saying in there what he called the SEC of Albuquerque. He was saying they don't have a lot of fans in their stands to watch those games. So while he was proud of the level of basketball being played, he was kind of disappointed that they don't support the fans there as well. And so he wanted to see an environment where it's a packed house. And they're filing in. You know, you got the student section. This is always standing wild. You have the Taskovich band. And the stands will be filled tonight. We'll have 5,000 in here.
Yeah, definitely going to help out the 6-man cause and get this team a punch ticket. Playing in the semifinals will be on Friday at 2 o'clock. Could be Las Cruces, could be Sandia. They're also going on tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting game to see because we'll learn a lot about Las Cruces. We saw them early in the season, played with them for 3.5 quarters before the wheels came off the wagon. And, you know, it's a team that I think in our minds we know we can play with them. But in my mind, I think they're the best team in the state, and we're going to have to play our best game to get there and to beat them.
Of course, last week, Eagles knocking off Farmington High School 80-66, so winning by 14 in that one, though it was pretty close through quite a few of the quarters. 24-20 at the end of the first, 41-36 at the half, so a 5-point lead for the Eagles. But the big difference was the third quarter. Hobbs outscoring Farmington 25-10.
And, you know, that's what happens with teams that press is that you go into the locker room, you sit down, your muscles kind of get a little tight because you've been running a lot. You come out, you don't get as much warm-up, you don't get loose. And the next thing you know, you're trying to run against a press again, and they're bringing that energy on you. It's hard. It's hard to come out of the locker room against a press. And that's what happens a lot of times with Hobbs is they have those better second halves.
Hobbs actually was out-rebounded by Farmington by 1, 36-35. But if another stat is more important, it might be in this case. Farmington 25 turnovers, just 10 for Hobbs.
Yeah, that's the big number right there. Hobbs is forcing those turnovers, getting all those extra looks. That's 15 more possessions in a game. 15 more attempts of shots, 15 more, points, possibly right there, 30 more points if you make them all. and that's usually ends up being the margin of victory, is the difference between your turnover ratios and your rebound ratios. You add them all up, a lot of times that's the difference in the game.
Hey, what about those three-pointers? Pretty close battle there, 8-7. 8 for Hobbs, 7 for Farmington, but lots of guys stepping up. Jalen Gore getting 5 of those, and, of course, Jesus Ramos got 3, so those are the 2 that picked them all up.
It's nice to see Gore heating back up, and when he's hot, we're a much tougher team to handle because we get that inside-outside game with the big man Mora, and you can't guard everything. And what we're trying to do is spread that floor, make them pick and choose their poison, and then we use that poison on them.
Boy, Jalen Gore shooting those 5 3-pointers, Coach, but 42%. You don't hear that very often.
No, not at the high school level especially. But that's a talent right there. In my mind, I see him as a Division I talent. I know he's already signed with Cameron, but, I think that this is a kid that could easily play Division I ball, and we're seeing a much better player. He signed before the season started, and I think that if he had waited, he probably would have gotten a call from somebody. He
finished with 24 points in that game, had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. We should also mention, too, he does lead the team on steals, or tied right now with Mackey, but that tells you he's not just one-dimensional.
And that's the biggest improvement he made this year was on his defense. In the past, he was not the strongest defensive player, and he didn't have a shutdown mentality. He's really grown into that this year, and I talked with him a couple of weeks back, and I said the thing that I like about your game most this year is the defense.
Other players getting the big numbers in that game, actually 4 in double figures. Jesus Ramos, 19 points. We mentioned his 3 trays, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. We did get out-rebounded by 1, but we had a lot of starters getting a chance to get on the glass and not just standing around and waiting for the ball to come to them.
And I think rebounding is a big key to this game right here. This is not an Atrisco team that's featuring a whole lot of size. They kind of match up like we do. And so I think rebounding is going to be a big key. If one team can come out and find some way to dominate the others on the board, that might be the margin of victory.
Aaron Mora, 16 points, 7 rebounds against Farmington. And last but not least, Michael Backey, 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. I think one of the critical things in this game is we see guys with different stat lines, not just one area.
Yeah, and I think having Mackey come back from that injury is a big, big boost to our squad. Mackey's defense on the perimeter is bar none some of the best in the state. And we saw that when he was guarding Benjamin from Las Cruces. You can see just an amazing defensive effort. And having him back where he can distribute the ball, make those passes, and be a threat from the outside, it helps the team a lot.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Jaguars from Atrisco Heritage out of Albuquerque. Currently sitting at 19-8 on the season, 4-4 district record they finished with, and 4 teams out of their district made it to the playoffs. Atrisco at the 4-4 mark, Rio Rancho at 4-4, they're already out. Siebel at 2-6, and Cleveland 2-6. Cleveland got booted out last week as well. But the big leader in that district is Volcano Vista, of course. They were number 1 for quite a bit of the season at the Max Preps poll, but our Las Cruces took them over at the last second, so they're the number 2 seed. A tough district to play in, of course. This team defeated number 12 El Dorado last week, did Atrisco. Final was 62-58 in that ball game. They had buzzer beaters in both the second and third quarters, so Atrisco can shoot the lights out from the outside. You got to be careful about that. Although El Dorado got a 11-2 run in the third quarter, Atrisco had to come back with an 18-2 run themselves in the third and fourth quarter for the victory. Chris Parra, 17 points for him. Colby Wade finished up with 15. Javier Mendoza with 14. So 3 in double figures, and those names come up quite frequently, Mendoza, Parra, and Wade throughout the season. This team is averaging 56 points a ball game and only giving up close to 50 points a game. That's a lot less points than what the Hobbs Eagles are averaging, 77 a ball game. So we're talking a big differential there, about 14 or so points, or maybe a little bit more than that, 17 points. So definitely there's going to be some catching up to do in terms of the offense, but still 19-8 record is nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all. And, like you said, they have some shooters. The question that I have is, are these shooters going to be able to keep shooting in the third and fourth quarter when their legs start to get tired? That's the big difference. A lot of teams come out hot against Hobbs. They stay with us for a half. They're able to keep those shots going. Second half, all of a sudden, you're tightening up a little bit. You're tired. You have to go a little deeper into the bench. And whether the bench can perform also, that's a second big question. So you have those 2 factors right there, and whether you can handle the ball against the press when you're tired. Those 3 things always work in Hobbs' favor in the second half. And Atrisco is going to have to find a way to deal with that if they're going to be competitive.
Had some issues with Volcano Vista, losing to them in the district tournament championship. Final in that one, 60-34. So a 26-point win for the number 2 seed Volcano Vista. In that game, though, Javier Mendoza for the Jaguars had 11 points, 3 3-pointers. Chris Parra 7 points with 1 tray, and Torres hit a tray as well. So they had a total of 5 3-pointers in the losing cause in that game. And before that, in the semis of the district tournament, they lost to Rio Rancho, or beat Rio Rancho 52-46. Colby Wade in that game had 20 points for Atrisco with 3 3-pointers. Chris Parra 11, 2 trays, and Javier Mendoza ended up with 10. So there's a lot of different guys that can shoot from the outside here.
There is, and a lot of them are sophomores. You talked about it's a pretty young team, and that's going to factor in. You know, not only are they a young team, they're a young team coming into a very hostile environment. And, you know, we're going to have thousands of people in this gym watching them play, and they're not used to that. It's going to be exciting for them at first. They're going to have tons of energy. Are they going to play within control or not?
You mentioned the sophomores. There's 5 of those on the squad. That's the most of any class. 4 seniors, 3 juniors, and 2 freshmen. So that makes up their roster. You mentioned size a minute ago. Colby Wade, who is a starter, we mentioned some of his points already the last few games. He's 6'4". He's the tallest on the squad as a starter. Of course, Aaron Mora listed at 6'6".
Yeah, and I think Mora's not just a 6'6". He's a 6'6". Beast. He's got a body of Adonis, you know. He's like a Greek god out there. He's strong. He plays both inside and outside. He's quick. He's got a lot of different talent sets, and it's very difficult for a smaller man to really guard him inside because he does get up high and has a lot of jumping ability.
Both these teams have 6 common opponents this year. Some of them they played more than once. Alamogordo, Eagles, and Atrisco both beating them by 30+, 41 for Hobbs, 36 for Atrisco. The number 7 seed, Rio Rancho, Hobbs beat them by 17. Atrisco won 2 of those games by single digits and then lost one of them by 3, so a little bit of a difference there. Number 6 seed Los Lunas, Hobbs winning by 27 and 11 in 2 games. For Atrisco, they won by 8 and 29, so that's a difference there a little bit. Oregon Mountain, the 15th seed, Hobbs winning by 24, Atrisco 17, pretty close there. Cleveland, the number 11 seed, Eagles winning twice, 24 and 13-point differentials, and for Atrisco is 15 and losing the second game by 11, so that one kind of gets your eyes bulging there. And Centennial, Hobbs won by 34, and Atrisco 18, another big one where big numbers were different on terms of the winning situation. And those common opponents, Hobbs 8-0 and Atrisco 8-2.
Yeah, you know what? You're talking a lot about Atrisco's wins, but you're not talking about Atrisco's losses. They've lost 8 times this year, and that means people have solved them 8 times, which means Coach Reeves has 8 different sets of films on how to beat them. And so Coach Reeves is a great coach. He's going to find some weaknesses. He's going to try to take advantage of them. And I think that, you know, with a 19-8 team, they're 19-8 for a reason. And so does Coach Reeves find those reasons?
Hey, half of those 8 losses, Coach, were between February 7th and the 18th, less than a 2-week span. They lost twice to number 2 Volcano Vista, 23 points and 26 points. Lost to Cleveland by 11 and Rio Rancho by 3. That was a lot of district games piled up in there. I'm not sure what the trend was, why 4 in a row, but that's what happened. Although they did come back and beat some of those teams earlier, Cleveland by 15 and Rio Rancho by 11. So there were some splits there. La Cueva's had their number quite a bit this season. Lost to them twice, 14 and 7 points, but then came back and won by 7. So there's been a little bit of a change-up in some teams in that district, but still, like you mentioned, 8 losses, but the big road trip add on top of that.
And, you know, you look at Hobbs' losses, they're quality losses. They lost to number 1 Las Cruces, and that's a team that I think is one of the best New Mexico teams I've ever seen, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, they got a Division I point guard. They've got a Division I post in there as well, and a lot of really good role players, and it's a very solid squad. The other loss was to a Permian team out of Texas that made it to the regionals in Texas, and that's a difficult thing to do. You know, this is, you know, here you win 4, you go to state. There you go 4, you just got yourself out of by-district, out of area, and now you start to play to go to regionals. And they beat the number 8 team in the state of Texas in doing so, and that's a team that had 3 Division I prospects signed. So you look at the losses that we had, very much quality losses.
Well, about 3 minutes away from tip-off, we'll get some starting announcements here and get your starters in this ball game. The Hobbs Eagles take on Atrisco Heritage, the quarterfinals of the 5A State Basketball Tournament 2022, live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Here, Clay.
Hey, could you check the internet audio for us, please?
Yeah, last time I checked, it was clear.
You could hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
One minute. $30. $15. $5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena in Titletown, USA, New Mexico, as the Hobbs Eagles are getting ready to take on Atrisco Heritage and Ty. This is an exciting venue, and look at this crowd. Everybody's got their fingers in the air supporting these Eagles, and it's going to be an absolutely barn burner of a game.
And it's got to be, too. The Eagles have to come out strong. We haven't seen that in the last few games. Kind of weak to begin with. Team was up by 10 points on them last week. Farmington 20-10 at one point. Big shots from the outside. We got a contested perimeter on this team that's going to shoot some trays against them.
And I think with a team that shoots threes, man, we got to make those legs weary. I think the press is going to be a big factor. I think we're going to come out very aggressive, probably a little more than we've done in the previous few games.
I think you made a key point earlier, too, about teams that come in, start off hot, and then we start to see after third quarter where the fizzle comes when the defense starts pressing hard.
And that's the thing. You've got to change your game against teams that press, where you start taking more of the layups and start working the ball inside in the second half instead of trying to shoot those threes when you're tired. But people don't take that mentality. They're taking the easiest shot they got. And a lot of times they're give me threes because you're breaking the press, but when you're tired, they're not give me threes.
Let's look at the starters first for Atrisco Heritage, who comes in at 19-8 overall, 5-5 in district. The Jaguars start number 3, Javier Mendoza. He's a senior guard. Number 10, Chris Parra, guard, a 6-foot junior. Marquise Renfro, number 12, a 6'1" sophomore. Also, they have a freshman on the starting lineup, and he fouled out one of their earlier games this past week. A 5'6" point guard, Latavius Moore, number 24. And Colby Wade, he's their tallest guy out there at 6'4", the senior forward, number 33. The 5 starters there. And Steve Heredia, coach, used to be down near your part of the country, down near El Paso, coaching here in New Mexico, though.
Yeah, I believe he's a chaparral guy. He was out there in the desert. And, I know that we talked a little bit about him. He's got a few ties to New Mexico State, and I do know some locals here that know him and speak very highly of him as a coach.
Well, let's take a look at the Hobbs Eagles starters now. Michael Mackey checks in at 8.5 points a game, second in assists at 2.7, and his first tied with Jalen Gore with steals at 2.2 a ball game. Jesus Ramos, his numbers keep coming up and up on the average. He's got 10.8 now on the season and is currently third on the team in rebounding and second for three-pointers made with 22, and he's been really adding on to those numbers the last few ball games. Jalen Gore, of course, the best three-point shooter on the team, who has 82 of those this season, and he's shooting 39% from three-point range. It's nice for a high school kid to hit. He's got the biggest average on the scoring at 19.9 a game, first in assists at 3.5, as we mentioned, tied with Mackey for steals at 2.2. Katre Morgan, 6.8 points a game and second in rebounding at 5.8. I'm waiting to him have a real good game tonight to try to get this team to the next level. And last but not least, Aaron Mora, he's second in scoring at 19.4 a game, first in rebounding at 10 points. The Eagles have made 139 three-point shots this year, up more than half of those, of course, by Jalen Gore. They're shooting 31% from three-point range, 45% from the field itself, and 66% from free throw line. The steals, 12.7 a contest, will be very critical in this game, and they've turned it over 13.4, so their turnovers a little bit more than their steals, but a lot of times some teams throw the ball out of bounds and don't count as a steal, so they might have a chance to get more than they need tonight.
Yeah, I think turnovers are going to be a big factor, and I think free throws are going to be a big factor tonight. I think that this crew is probably going to be one that calls fouls. They seem to be warming up them arms and kind of testing out them whistles beforehand. This may be a tight crew, and if that's so, it's going to be a game of attrition who can make free throws.
You didn't say game of Atrisco, did you?
No,
you said attrition. Okay,
attrition.
It sounds the same. 26-2 Eagles, 6-0 in district, of course. Coach Shelby Reeves, as we're ready for some action. The Hobbs Eagles wearing the white uniforms, black numbers, and gold trim. And Atrisco, kind of almost a black-looking maroon or something of that nature, navy blue, maybe we could call it that. And they got the white numbers on top of that uniform. As we get ready for the tip here at Tasker Arena, the winner will play the winner of Las Cruces Sandia. They're going on tonight in Las Cruces, the number 1 seed, Dogs versus Sandia, the Matadors, number 9. And about a 2-inch height advantage for Aaron Mora right now at 6'6", as he'll jump up against Colby Wade at 6'4". And we're ready for some action here at Tasker. The tip comes over the referee's head on the near side and pulled down by the Jaguars quickly with the hands of Marquise Renfro. Pass to the left base to Morris. Goes to the rack. Is rejected by Morgan and pulled down for Jalen Gore. That's a way to start on the D. Up ahead to the right corner. Ramos dribbles down the lane on the hippity hop. Takes it to the rack. A finger roll over the right rim and puts it through. Eagles up early 2-0. Man-to-man pressure defense. Mackey's going to take on the guard. Stop and go dribble now for Para. Into the front court to the right wing. Already a reach foul on Mackey, and Mackey thought he got pushed off that time.
Yeah, I think he got his arm on him, shoved him, and there already some jawing going on. Mackey's trying to guard him close, and Chen's over there talking to him, and I think they're getting excited. Yeah,
both are number 10s, too. That's just going to add some kindling wood to the fire here. Ball comes across the timeline after the inbound to Mendoza. Jump stop and pass to the half court to Latavius Morris. Over to the near sideline to Marquise Renfro. Dribble up top, sliding left to right. Jump stop, bounce pass top of the circle to Wade with the pivot. Mora right on top of him. Backdoor pass on the ground to Mendoza. Stolen away by Morgan. Boy, 2 big defensive plays and 2 turnovers for Atrisco. Down to Ramos left corner for 3 off the back of the rim. No good. And pulled down on the right block for Atrisco by Chris Para. Throws it across the timeline to Morris on the left wing. Gets a screen up top from Wade. Backs out of it to the timeline. Guarded by Jalen Gore. Unloads to the left wing to Mendoza. He wants to clear out top of the circle. Continues down the right side of the lane. Dumps it right corner to Wade. Wade's going to fire away an NBA fadeaway. Air ball. Loose in the lane. Ramos lost it. Pulled down in the right block by Renfro. Up top to Mendoza. Dribbles out to the right wing. Kicks it up top to Morris. Morris with a jab step. Screen up top from Wade. Down the left elbow. He's going to pivot. Underhands it to Wade, top of the circle. Touch pass to the right wing to Mendoza. Takes it to the right middle of the lane and throws up a shot. Rejected. Whoa. Boy, he looked like he got a piece of the ball, did Cotré Morgan. I guess I'm going to say his hand slid down on it.
Yeah, I guess so. And he got that ball about 3 inches after it was let go. Slammed it down, but somehow they called a foul.
That's going to put Javier Mendoza on the line to shoot 2. Already 2 fouls on the Eagles, 2-0 foul count. Jaguars trying to get on the scoreboard, trailing 2-0 here early in the first. First shot's up and swished by Mendoza. Kind of fell forward a little bit, and he's kind of smiling at his teammates here as lost his balance just a bit on that line.
And Mendoza's looked a little bit kind of shaky out there, throwing that elbow on all of his crossover dribbles.
Second shot, a fade this time, went backwards. He gets both of them. 2 points for him, tied at 2. Quickly in the front court, Jalen Gore. They'll pick up the defense of number 10, Chris Para. Stop and go, crossover, down the right side of the lane. Dumps it right corner to Mackey, wide open for a 3. Off the side rim left and pulled down hard by Marquise Renfro. Now in the front court, 2-on-2. Goes the rack, double clutch, high off the glass right side and puts it through. Renfro's first bucket, first lead for Atrisco. They're 4-2.
Renfro did a great job getting up there on the finish because he was challenged by Mackey there.
Jalen Gore will flick it off to Mackey in the front court near the timeline, top of the circle. High post left to Mora. He's going to pivot towards the hoop. Back to Morgan in the left block. Turns and fires his shoulder at the defender. Runs over the top of the little guard and gets the charge. Latavius Morris, and now already Morgan facing 2 fouls, Coach.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a very, very touchy situation because he kind of stepped up under after the motion was already coming. His feet weren't quite set. So he was a benefit right there.
Ethan Van Landingham has to check on for Morgan, who exits with 2 fouls already. 3-0 the foul count now at the demise of the Eagles. 5:50 left, first quarter. Hobbs down by 2, 4-2. High pass to the far sideline to Para. Slings it across to the left wing. Renfro goes to the rack. Lefty lamp and scores. Eagles not getting back on defense. And Renfro with 4 points. 6-2. Biggest lead is 4 for the Jaguars. In the front court, Jalen Gore on the left wing. Coming out on him tight is Para. To the scores table. Backing out to the timeline. Dribbling behind his back is Gore. He wants it clear out. Crossover move. Goes behind his back. Top of the circle. NBA 3 off the back of the rim. High bounce. And pulled down right of the lane by Morris. Eagles not getting the boards on the offensive side. Into the front court comes Morris. Stop and go to the right wing. 5:15 left, first quarter. Lost it through his legs and tried to dive for the steal as Van Landingham. They're going to say it's going to be Eagle basketball. Looked like Ethan could have just waited and let it roll out. He tried to save it. I thought they were going to give it back to the Jaguars.
But, more from Atrisco, he didn't argue that. He kind of knew what that call was, so the referee made a good call there.
That's a third Atrisco turnover, though. They lead by 4. Jalen Gore gets the inbound. Stop and go. Gives to Mackey left base. Dumps it to the right block to Van Landingham. Underneath them. Stolen away for Atrisco Heritage by Renfro. Second Hobbs Eagle turnover. Into the front court. Right wing to Mendoza. Cross court left. Back deep again now to Morris. He'll hold it underneath his left elbow. Coming back to get it at the timeline is Para. Para guarded by Mackey. Uses up the dribble. High post left to Wade. Goes backdoor. Reverse layup. Missed underneath the hoop from left to right by Mendoza. And a big rebound for Jalen Gore. Bounces it down the lane to Ramos. He tries to go backdoor to Mora and throws it ahead of him to the baseline, but luckily touched by the Jaguars as it goes out of bounds.
And that contingency here cheering for Atrisco is pretty loud and boisterous with that 6-2 lead right now, chanting defense.
Van Landingham chucks it back up top to Jalen Gore, backs out to the timeline, 6-2. Atrisco leading Hobbs. To the scores table. Now he's going to go forward with the dribble. Screen up top from Mora. Comes around it. Shot from the right elbow. In and out, no good. Can't get the drop yet. And the rebound on the right block pulled down by the Jaguars. That is Mendoza. Right now a 4-2 rebound count in favor of the visiting Atrisco squad. In the front court, dribbling behind his back is Para. NBA 3 and good. Van Landingham fell down and nailing it is Para. So there's that quick start we've been talking about, Coach, for the opposition. They're going to lead 9-2 and a Hobbs Eagle timeout with 4:10 left first quarter.
And that was one of those shots right there. He kind of pushed off a little bit, and then he ended up getting bumped after the play, and he was screaming at the referee for the foul, throwing his hands in the air, trying to get a four-point play, and then to no avail.
We'll keep it right here. Hobbs trailing 9-2. What's Coach Reeves telling his troops right now?
Oh, he's trying to get that energy level back up because we're not switching quick enough on defense. We're not helping each other out. We're getting good perimeter pressure, but the problem is with perimeter pressure is when they get by you, you got to get that help coming up and then rotate. And that's the secondary thing. We get the help, that secondary rotation's not getting there.
Also not getting the touch on the shots either. They're not dropping for the Eagles yet.
Well, and they've had a couple of good shots, but the little turnovers where they have an open person, the ball's being delivered just a touch late.
Inbound to Mackey, 4:05 left first quarter. Hobbs down by 7, their biggest deficit of this quarter. Mackey will give it off to Moore on the high post left. Pivots to Mackey on the right side of the free throw line. To Van Landingham baseline. Goes to the rack. Double clutch. Gets blocked. Tip back up from behind by Ramos on the right side. And he puts it through for 2. 4 points and a rebound for Jesus Ramos. It's 9-4. Hobbs down by 5. In the backcourt, one-hand bounce pass to Para. Gets double teamed. Van Landingham and Mackey. Slings it back to the far right. Now coming to the middle is Kadarius Sims. Into the front court. He passes and gets it back top of the circle, goes down the lane with a little scoop shot on the right side, gets bodied into going up. It looks like Van Landingham's going to get him. Again, these quick first steps for Jaguars now getting him some free throw opportunities.
Yeah, and what's happening, they're spacing about on the wings, so that helps just a step late getting there, and then you got a foul.
Clock stop at 3:35 left here in the first. 9-4 Atrisco. Biggest lead has been 7. Right now it's 5. Latavius Moore on the line. First shot is up and in and out, no good. They're now 2 for 3 on the charity stripe for 66% on the line.
The concerning thing is right now that Atrisco hadn't committed any fouls. You're kind of wondering why.
And 4 for the Eagles. Second shot for Morris is good, 1 of 2. And now 10-4 the lead, 6-point lead. Sub coming in as the free throw shooters going to exit, and checking in for the Jaguars is Tony Pacheco, his first action. Here comes Jalen Moore with the basketball as he comes across the timeline. Going to slow it down, looking for some rotation on the wings now. Bounce pass to Van Landingham on the right wing. To Moore on the right elbow. Back to Gore, left wing for 3. That hit the bottom of the backboard left side. Easy rebound for Renfro. Outlet to the far sideline. Here comes Para, dribbling through his legs, taking on Mackey in the front court now. Gets a screen by Wade. Come around the left circle. And he tries to spin and then pass, and he shuffled the pivot foot. Mackey right on top of him. Turnover, travel. That'll be the 4th turnover for Atrisco, and they'll give it back to the Eagles. Still up by 6 on Hobbs, though.
And that's what happens when you make a great move and then the person catches up to you and actually playing good defense. That happens. You all of a sudden can't make a second move.
Mora feeds it to the right corner, and a fadeaway for Ramos, and nails a tray. That's the shot in the arm the doctor ordered here. Ramos has 7 Eagle points out of the 7, 100%. 2:50 left first quarter. Eagles down by 3. Into the front court, driving up the far sideline is Mendoza. Back deep to Pacheco at the timeline, to the left wing, to Para. Down to the left corner, 3 on the way for Renfro, and he nails it. Second tray of the game for the Jaguars. 7 now for Renfro. 13-7. Hobbs down by 6. 2:30 left here in the first.
And Atrisco's feeling it right now. This is that first quarter surge that we always talk about. People always get this little lead against us. Whether they can keep it up, that's going to be the question.
In the top of the arc, Van Landingham to Mackey on the right wing. Returns to Van Landingham. Swinging left to Jalen Gore. He's going to dribble to 15. Fires up a shot off the glass and puts it home for 2. Beautiful follow through off the glass there by Jalen Gore. His first bucket. It's 13-9. Eagles down by 4. On the far sideline after the pass is Pacheco. Slings it back to the left side to Para. Backdoor and a one-hand push shot over the rim. Mendoza just floats down the lane and scores. He's got 4, 15-9.
And that's the problem with the rotation right there. You miss your rotation, that's an easy layup.
Jalen Gore will slow it down for the offense as he comes across the timeline. Guarded by Para to the far side in front of the scores table. He's going to keep the offense moving a little bit. Waiting for a screen from Mora on the left wing. Bounce pass to Mora. He's going to go down the pike with it and lays it over the front of the iron. Just a little shot put action there. Getting his size off the floor. And Mora with his first bucket. 15-11. So now it's Atrisco letting the Eagles penetrate a little bit.
Little George Gervin action on the finger roll there.
Chris Parr in the front court. Gets the screen. Comes down the lane. Finds a man open left corner. Pacheco doesn't take it. Pass to the left wing. Same side. And Renfro nails a 3. Second in a row for him. He's got 10 points. Back to a 7-point Atrisco lead. 18-11. Jalen Gore in the front court. Screen up top from Ramos. Backs out of it. Gives it to Ramos. Top of the circle with 110. Jab step. Shake and bake. Crossover. Spots up a 3 from the right side. Off the back of the rim. High hit. And goes up in the air to the right baseline. Rebound by Para for his second.
When you have a long shot like that, you have a long rebound. That takes your post out of it.
Happened a lot of times so far in this first quarter. Underneath 50 seconds now. On the left wing in the front court is Pacheco. Guarded by Mackey. Dribbles back to the timeline. Coming back to get it is Parr on the right wing. To the timeline to Mendoza. Clock to 40. Looks like they want to run the last shot here. Just holding the basketball as Ramos will step out on him near the timeline. Mendoza will come right and hand it off to Parra. Slides back to the time stripe and dribbles again with 30 seconds. Keeping the clock moving here. A 7-point Jaguar lead here at Tasker Arena. Comes to the right, unloads to Mendoza. He just holds it, fakes a pass, and just kicks it up top instead to Wade. Fires an NBA 3 out the front of the rim, no good. But chased down on the right wing quickly by Renfro, his third board, beating the Eagles to the ball with 12 seconds left in the quarter. Back to the timeline to Parra. He's going to dribble through his legs near the scores table far side. Puts his head with a fake, spins at the free throw, fadeaway jumper with 4 off the back of the rim. Tipped around and pulled down by Jalen Gore with 1. 3-quarter shot at the buzzer. Ooh, just hits the front of the iron, almost dropped through, but that's the end of the first quarter. Your score, 18-11. Atrisco up by 7 on the Eagles. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
You're clear. $30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker. 18-11 your score. Atrisco has the lead. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Ty Friend.
Atrisco top scorer Marquise Renfro, 2 trays, 10 points, 4 for Javier Mendoza. And Ramos in the front court now. Tucks it, goes up, double clutch, gets stripped. It goes out of bounds on the left baseline. Back to the Eagles. Hobbs with 7 points for Ramos, 2 apiece for Gore and Mora. Hobbs out rebounded 7-4 in that first quarter. It's 18-11. Inbound to the right wing. Pass back to Ramos, right corner, fadeaway 18-footer, hits the back of the rim, no good. Box gets the rebound, comes down the lane, scoop shot fouled, got hipped from the middle of the paint that time. You'll get a chance for a couple of free throws, and Ramos hit the floor pretty hard on that right corner, Coach.
Yeah, he did. But you know what? That's what a foul from Atrisco looks like. We hadn't seen one of those yet.
So Box will go on the line. They get the foul call against J.J. Torres, his first team foul, as Box will step up to the charity stripe. First free throw of the night for the Eagles. Box came in with a 50% shooting number and misses off the front of the rim, no good. He will get one more. Hobbs came in with a 66% free throw average up to that point. So Box getting one more, trying to get in the scorebook. Eagles down by 7. That's their biggest deficit of the ball game. Ooh, Mackey's running around a little bit. Actually, that was Ross, almost got a violation. Second shot, Coach Herrera was asking about that one. Free throw was good for Box, 1 of 2. It's 18-12. Hobbs down by 6. In the front court, dribbling behind his back is Morris. Comes across, unloads to Pacheco on the left wing, well outside the arc. Over the right side of Mendoza. Actually, correction, that is J.J. Torres who backs it out to the timeline. Coming back to get it on the far side is Morris, guarded by Jalen Gore. He'll back it out to the half stripe. Gets a screen on the right side by Pacheco, comes to the left elbow and spins out of it and back to the time stripe. They're trying to move the Eagles far up to the half-court line as they can, Coach.
Yeah, he's called out Mora. He thinks he's going to drive on him. Mora just swatted it.
Stop-and-go dribble is rejected, as you mentioned, by Mora. Gets the rebound. That's his first. Outlet up court to Ross, right side down the lane. Backdoor to Box, who lays it in for 2 on the left. Box now with 3 points, 18-14. Hobbs down by 4. In the backcourt, stop-and-go, dribbling through his legs is Pacheco, taking on Box now in the front court far side. 6:50 left here in the second, 18-14. Hobbs down by 4. Dish off to the right wing to Morris. Up top with a dangerous behind shot to Platero. He almost lost it. He's going to spot up a 3 from the right side off the glass. No good. Ill-advised shot. Rebound for Ramos in the middle of the paint. That's his second. Up ahead to Gore. Down the lane, right side. To Box. Fakes a 3 left wing. Jumps in the air. Tries to throw it back door. He didn't know if he wanted to pass or shoot at that time, and he's lucky he didn't get a travel first, and ball sails out of bounds on the turnover.
And Trisco's lucky they didn't get a hold call, because when he pump faked and started the drive, grabbed his jersey with 2 hands, and that's what caused him to jump up the air trying to draw the foul. When he didn't get the call, he had to throw it away.
Third turnover for the Eagles. There's been 4 for Atrisco. 6:31 left, second quarter. Hobbs down by 4, 18-14. Inbound near sideline to Wade with the big jump stop and throws it back deep to his guard, Para. Crossover move against Ramos into the front court. He wants to clear out on the left side. He spins to the top of the circle, shoves off on Ramos, drives the left of the lane on the cradle, stops and shoots. No good off the front of the rim. Pulled down and put back up on a sidewinder by Renfro. Can't get it to drop, and another rebound for Aaron Moore underneath. Outlet to the timeline. Gore comes down the middle of the lane. Backdoor to Ross, wide open with 2 hands off the right glass. That's how you spark the Eagles. His first bucket, 18-16 down by 2.
Uh-oh, here come the Eagles. You can hear Atrisco's crowd getting a little bit quiet over there.
Chris Parra in the front court, screen on the right side, outside the perimeter by Wade. Dimp it to the left corner to Mendoza, fadeaway 3, and that's how they get back in it as Mendoza gets the tray. Fourth tray of the game for the Jaguars. Mendoza now with 7 points, 21-16. Eagles down by 5. Mora going to put on a screen on the left wing for Jalen Gore. Back to Mora, coming down the lane, and they really didn't have control, but they called the travel. He tried to get through 2 defenders. I'm not sure if he actually had control enough to have a travel on that one, but they do call it. That's his 4th.
Yeah, coaching staff over there from Atrisco spending a lot of time in the referee's ears. Sometimes that pays off. Sometimes they pay off on you.
Eagles man-to-man defense right now, not going with that 1-2-2 trap that we've seen such a lot of this season. Inbound to the near side, big jump stop for Wade. Bounces it back deep to the baseline to Mendoza and gives it off to Para now. He's going to with the hard dribble against Mackey in the front court, near side. Lost it off his knee, recovers it, almost falling to the floor. One-hand bounce pass back to the timeline to Renfro right side. He goes through his legs, crossover, backs into Box down the lane, leans and shoots a sidewinder, rolls off the left rim, and Ross will rip it down on the near sideline. That is his first rebound. Throws it ahead to Mackey, right base. Double clutch, gets hammered by 2 defenders, one in front, one in back. And then one of the defenders steps over the top of him, kind of messing with him, Chris Para. And that's not the one that gets the foul. Instead, they'll charge that to Wade.
Yeah, a little bit of emotion on the floor. Mora getting into it. And I tell you what, both teams are playing on level 9 right now of adrenaline.
First foul on Wade, second on the Atrisco Heritage. I think part of that problem was we saw after the foul, Para just stepped over the face of Mackey. to get to the other side of the court there. And now Mackey will go to the line to shoot two. Michael Mackey shooting 73% this season from the charity stripe. Eagles right now 1 of 2. And now we got Coach Heredia out of the court making a bunch of signals at the official during a free throw.
During a free throw, that should be a technical foul right there. Sit down, Coach.
Unbelievable. Mackey misses off the back of the rim, and the Hobbs Eagle fans reacted too. They think there should be something done about the coach. One of the officials is going off, and the other ref had to come over and calm him down just a bit, the one that was getting yelled at by Coach Heredia. One more for Mackey here on the free throw line, trying to get it down to a 4-point game and makes the second. 1 of 2 on the line, 21-17. This is going to be a barn burner to the end. You can feel it.
Yeah.
5:07 left, second quarter. Inbound to the far sideline. DePara in the backcourt, taking on Mackey one-on-one. The 2 number 10s going at it. Stop and go to the front court, to the far right sideline. Continues to the right wing, falls to the floor, is able to push it back up top and driving the lane now. Renfro has a man open, Mendoza left corner for another 3. That's his second. He's got 10 points now. They continue to jack the threes in the hole. 24-17, matching the biggest lead for Atrisco. Jalen Gore in the front court, screen left wing by Mora, 3 on the top of the arc for Jalen Gore from downtown, and he puts it through. Jalen Gore now with 5 points, the second tray of the game for the Eagles. It's 24-20. Tit for tat on the court now. Tony Pacheco in the front court, left wing, and we got a carry. Jalen Gore got tripped to the floor, but they call the carry. That'll be a turnover for Atrisco, their 5th.
And this has been an exciting game thus far. Both teams going back and forth. It's a 4-point ball game, but man, the emotions are already running high, and we're just in the second quarter.
24-20 the score, 4:25 remaining in the second. Inbound to Jalen Gore. Hobbs down by 4. Gore slowing it down in the front court. Screen up top from Mora. Picked up by the defender Wade now. Coming to get his Ramos on the left wing. He'll bring it up top off the dribble through his legs. Katre Morgan sets a screen. He moves and throws out the forearm. Easy call to make from the official, top of the circle. Morgan now straddled with 3 fouls, Coach.
Yeah, you can't do that. You got to get your feet set. Got to keep your body not moving. Morgan's going to have to go to the bench. Here comes Ross.
That's the 5th turnover as well for the Eagles. I mean, good idea. He was trying to get himself set, but he extended those arms out. Football block that time. Down to 4:10 remaining in the half, 24-20. Can't believe this first half already over, getting close. Ball thrown across the timeline from Para to the far side. And that's Pacheco, and now we got a screen the other way. This time Wade, the big kid, gets his second personal. He's a 6'4" post. Love to see him on the bench, and Coach Heredia looks like he's going to trade him out.
Yeah, he probably has to here. Problem is, you still got Mora on the floor. How are you going to deal with that?
3 fouls for Atrisco. Eagles have 5 so far. Turnover 6 for Atrisco, 5 for the Eagles.
And you can see a big height advantage down in the post for Mora. Let's see if you go to him.
Jalen Gore will come across the timeline, dribbling behind his back against Para. Bad pass to the right wing, tried to get it to Ramos, stolen by Mendoza. He'll go to the rack, misses the layup. Jalen Gore rebounds on the left side. He'll take the dribble after his 4th rebound. Up court to Mora. He lays it in for 2 on the right side and stares down the whole bench as he runs toward the back of the wall. Mora's got 4. We're down to a 2-point deficit for the Eagles. 3:35 remaining second quarter, and we're not even in the second half yet. It's such an exciting atmosphere. Para's going to drive the right base, double clutch, and scores off the glass. Para now with 5. 26-22. Here come the Eagles. Mackey in the front court, top of the circle. Dish off right to Gore. He gets a screen from Ramos. 3 on the way and good! Jalen Gore with 2 trays. The Eagles have 3 trays and 8 points now for Gore. 26-25. Hobbs down by 1. We got a foul on the far sideline. I think Ramos might have been slapping, or maybe Mackey they're going to get on instead here. Wait to see who the call's on the full court pressure.
Yeah, Ramos even raised his hand afterwards. He knew he did it.
So Ramos will pick up the foul. That's his first, 16th foul. Atrisco 1 away from the bonus with 3:08 left in the second. Slowing it down for the Jaguars is Para. Comes across against Mackey. Bounce pass back door. There's a major travel underneath. He stepped about 3 steps underneath the hoop, and the referee said he bobbled it. Didn't say he had possession. Para gets a benefit of the doubt for 7 points. 3-point from the right wing, off the mark for Ramos right side, and pulled down for Para, his 3rd rebound. 28-25 the score. As coming across the timeline is Para. Boy, that was a major travel underneath the hoop. No dribble at all. 3 steps underneath the hoop on the reverse right to left for Atrisco. Continuing the dribble is Para. Gives it back on the right side to Platera, who just checked in. Gives it back to Para. Swings it to the left side to Pacheco. Clocked at 2:28. Drives hard to the rack. All the way to the hole and scores. Ramos got behind him that time, and he makes him pay for it on the layup. And that's 2 points for Pacheco, his first of the game, 30-25 Jaguars.
Ramos thought he was going to get another one of those blocks on the glass. I think that's what he was trying for there.
Jalen Gore will unload to Mora at the top of the circle in the front court. Back over to Gore in the corner right, and it was touched in the air. Good defense in the passing lane that time, diving to the near sideline by Renfro. But it will be Hobbs Eagle basketball in the deep right corner front court.
I think we're going to have to make the realization they got out of their man-to-man. They're now in a matchup zone, and that was a little bit different. We might have to change up our offense here. We got to notice it.
Van Landingham checks in for Mackey for the Eagles, and looks like also Box is trying to get in, but they're not going to let him in. Inbound to Jalen Gore at the timeline. Ross tried to set a screen for him and took a dive. Pass to the right side to Ramos, back to Gore at the time stripe on the right. 2 minutes left in the half. Eagles down by 5, and Coach Reeves about 10 feet out on the floor at the other end trying to get some instructions out to his squad. Gore will bounce pass to Mora on the left wing. Bobbled it for a second, was behind him. Slings it to the right side to Ramos. Touched by Atrisco, and then also Ramos touches it. It goes out of bounds. That was thrown near the sideline, near right, and that'll be the 7th Eagle turnover.
Trying to switch to the flex right there. Didn't quite get out to the wings, and that's something. It's you're running that against a matchup. You got to find that little short corner.
1:48 left in the half. Hobbs down by 5, 30-25. Chris Parra with the basketball. Take on Van Landingham through the time stripe, dribbling through his legs. Bounce pass right. Jump stop on the catch for Mendoza. Box will take him out. On the far side, up top to Renfro, fakes a 3, goes down the lane, reverse, layup, left side, no good. Mora spins and gets the rebound, his 3rd. Up ahead to Box, 2-on-2, fakes a pass left, double clutch left side. Ball comes off the rim, bounces around a few times, but he's fouled, and that'll put Box on the line. Eagles starting to get a better transition game going here.
Yeah, that was a nice little play there. It didn't look like Van Landingham got out there with it. Van Landingham was ahead of the play. Box kind of ran right past him. Van Landingham could have got out front and probably had a layup.
That's the first on Parra, 14 foul against Atrisco, and that'll put Box on the line. He's 1 for 2. Eagles as a team, 2 for 4, and the free throw good for Box. He's got 4 points, and the score now 30-26. Hobbs down by 4 with 1:24 left in the second quarter. Boy, can you imagine those strategy sessions at halftime with these two coaches?
There's going to be a lot of talking going on.
Box with a fadeaway on the second free throw. Gets it to drop after a few bounces. He's got 5 points. It's now 30-27. Atrisco by 3 with 1:18 left second quarter. Stop and go dribble now in the front court from Parra. One hands it off to the right wing to Mendoza. Guarded by Van Landingham. Up top open Renfro. Now coming out as Gore. Pass off to the right wing to Parra. He's pivoting as Box will slide with him to the timeline. Spin move to the right for Parra, still outside the circle. Stop and go to the left elbow and backs it out again. Back to the timeline. Van Landingham gets a strip for a second against Mendoza. Pass to the left wing to Parra for 3. Clinks off the rim. A save, though, on the back of the backboard. They're going to have to call that out. As getting high in the air was Tony Pacheco, but he was so far behind the backboard, he had nowhere to aim it, and it hit right in the back of the glass.
That was a good hustle and effort by Pacheco there. Didn't have much of an angle to get rid of it. But
Eagles nowhere to be found on that one. They should have been going to the basketball. Down by 3 with 45 seconds left, and we've got a whistle underneath. Looks like Atrisco was pushing on that one underneath the hoop on the Eagles' offensive side. They get the call against Javier Mendoza, his first, 15th foul. Hobbs will have it on the right baseline underneath the hoop. Down by 3, 30-27, 47 seconds left, second quarter.
Look underneath. Mora's already leaning on somebody, and they're trying to push him.
Yeah, it's Aiden Platero, and Coach out in the court too, Steve Heredia, trying to call the official that we need to calm this down a little bit. Box is trying to get some attention down in the right corner. Nobody's watching. He's wide open, but they couldn't get in quick enough. Inbound to Ramos, left wing for 3. In and out, but no rebounders underneath. Pulled down by Renfro, though, for Atrisco wide open there. Jaguar basketball with 38 seconds left in the half. Dribbling through his legs across the timeline is Parra. Comes left against Van Landingham. Don't want to foul again, or it'll be a bonus. Back to the time stripe, going left to right around the circle. Continues to the corner. Backs out against double team pressure with Box, and unloads to the right wing to Platero. Back deep to the timeline, right to Pacheco. Crossover against Jalen Gore. Backs out on the far sideline with 18 seconds. One hand bounce pass in the lane to Mendoza. He fades to the right base. Fadeaway Jay and gets fouled. Pushed from the behind. Boy, great job of backdoor cutting for this Atrisco team.
Yeah, they like that backdoor cut. Run a little bit of a rules-based motion out there, and then get that backdoor cut when they see that you're trying to jump the passes. And Box, all he could do there was reach out and grab and prevent that layup.
I was on against the Eagles box. Alex Xavier Crawford will be on the line. First shot is in and out. No, it stays in. Whoa. So Box picked up his first 17th foul. And actually, that was Javier Mendoza who made the free throw. He's had 2 trays in this game, now 11 points for him. He'll get one more. Second shot for Mendoza is up, and it is good. Got them both. 32-27. Quick inbound to Jalen Gore. Double team in the near right corner. Cross court left to Ramos. One hands it across the timeline to box right wing. Spots up a three wide open. In and out, no good. High rebound on the right baseline for the Jaguars. Renfro with 2 seconds across the timeline. Shot from the free throw line at the buzzer is good. He extended long down the lane that time, and he's got 12 in the first half. As both teams run off the court, it's going to be a battle to the end. Back up to a 7-point lead for Atrisco, 34-27 over the Eagles at the half. Come back with us in 3 minutes on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
You're clear. Two minutes. One minute. $30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena. 34-27, your score as Atrisco leads the Eagles here. And Ty, we got a game that's back and forth, a lot of emotions, a lot of energy going on. What do you see here?
Well, I see here one thing is the Hobbs Eagles got to be more consistent on the defense, taking a little bit of control of the basketball when they do get the ball back away from Atrisco and make something happen with it, put some points on the scoreboard. Hobbs finally started to get some free throws in that second quarter, 4 for 6 from the line for 66%. I liked Box coming off the bench in that second quarter, getting 5 points, and he was 3 for 4 from the line just in the second quarter. So kind of give him a spark there. Hobbs starting to see a little bit of shots falling finally. Jalen Gore hit a couple of trays, and Jesus Ramos did too, but 3 3-pointers compared to 5. Too many guys getting open on the Atrisco perimeter.
Yeah, and we knew this was going to happen. That's what we give up early against, when we press. That is a fact. We give up early threes. And we talked about it. Now they're sitting. Now they're rested. Their bodies up there getting a little tight because they're not moving. How are they going to shoot in the second half? And that'll be the question that determines the end of this game. If they can consistently show that they're going to hit that wing three on us all night, we'll have trouble. If they can't hit it, we're going to win.
Same time, though, you can't leave it open either, too. I mean, you get all choked up on the top of the arc, and then you got a ball down to the corner with a wide-open shot. They're going to hit those shots.
Well, that's the thing. You say that, but it's part of the system. Every system gives up something. We're giving up the wing three. It's the lowest percentage three-point shot, that you can take. But as the game goes on and it wears, that's not an easy shot to make. It gets harder and harder and harder to make that shot as the game goes on, which makes our defense better as the game goes on.
Let's look at the numbers in the first half. 2 players have scored 12 for Atrisco. Javier Mendoza, he had 2 trays and was perfect on the line, 4 for 4. Definitely want to keep him off that charity stripe in the second half. Also has 1 rebound. Marquise Renfro also with 12, and he had most of his in the first quarter. He had 10 points. Eagles held him to 2 in the second, but he had 2 trays as well. So those 2 guys, Mendoza and Renfro, combined for 24 points and 4 3-pointers in the first half. Renfro was also the top rebounder with 6 boards. That's just because he's going after the ball quickly. Hobbs getting flat-footed in some cases. Those are the 2 double digits. Chris Parra was 7 points. He had a tray as well and 3 rebounds. Tony Pacheco hit a bucket for 2, and Latavius Morris went 1 for 2 on the line for 1 with 1 rebound. They've only had 4 scores, but those 2, Mendoza and Renfro, are 24 of the 34 points in the first half, Coach.
Yeah, that is just amazing. They've been a pretty good tandem outside. They haven't looked entirely comfortable handling the ball, but they certainly look good shooting it.
In terms of free throws, they've only missed 1 so far, 5 of 6 for 83%. So Hobbs better be careful about getting them on the line too much out there. 6 turnovers in the first half for Atrisco. Now, they did get their big man, if you want to call this foul trouble. He has 2 as he had to sit the bench there midway through the second quarter. Will that be a factor?
Yeah, it's not a factor yet. Hadn't been a whole lot of fouls called. They've really pretty much let them play, but they're in there talking too. That referee crew saying, hey, that coach is getting out of hand. A couple of the referees were getting into it a little bit about the emotions. They're probably going to make the decision to come out and clean up this game. I bet you a lot more fouls get called in the second half.
Hobbs Eagles, nobody in double digits yet. Jalen Gore getting close after 2 trays in the second quarter. He's got 8 points and 4 rebounds and leads the team on the boards right now. 7 for Jesus Ramos, coming off a tray and a couple of buckets. He's got 2 boards. 5 for Tyler Box, all in that second quarter. We mentioned he was 3 for 4 from the line. Aaron Mora with 4 points and 3 rebounds. Kind of a quiet game for him so far. He definitely has to get himself more inserted in the action. Ronnie Ross coming off the bench for a bucket and a rebound. Michael Mackey went 1 of 2 from the line for 1 point. The Eagles have had 6 scores so far in the first half. They went 4 of 6 from the line at 66%, hit those 3 trays, and had 7 turnovers compared to 6 for Atrisco. Both teams with 11 rebounds, so we're pretty even on that number right now. I think the team that starts getting those turnovers and playing some tougher pressure defense like we see what the Eagles normally have, that seems to get the crowd fired up and get in the heads of the opponent. And we haven't seen a lot of those steals yet, but Eagles has got to be smarter with what they're doing in terms of getting the steals, not hatchet job. And like you said, I think that's going to tighten up on calls too.
Yeah, and we had a couple of plays where we got our paws almost on the ball and almost got steals. In the second half, those become steals because the other team's passes aren't as crisp. They start slowing things down. So I really think the poison's going to set here in the third quarter.
You just got an unfortunate Lee County score that's called in here just now, and a bad one on the road, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jow went up to Rehoboth Christian, and they lost that game 48-47.
1 point loss for the Jowl Panthers. A long, long road trip up by Gallup there for that game tonight. So that was on our sister station. They started earlier than our game, so game is over. Unfortunately, the Panthers wrap up the season. They were the district champs, though, Coach.
Yeah, they were. The team that
actually, I think they lost in the championship to Hagerman, I believe. That's
maybe so.
Second
yeah,
place.
Hagerman.
They won the regular season district. So
it's a team that coming into the season was one of the preseason favorites in the state. A lot of people thought that they'd be in the state finals this year. They have a lot of size. Things are starting to go right for Jowl. Unfortunately, it didn't go right today.
Hobbs Lady Eagles and the Hobbs boys are both the last hopes for Lee County in terms of teams at state, at least to the next round. Hobbs still in contention here, hopefully getting a chance to either play Las Cruces High or Sandia, who's on tonight as well in the other quarterfinal game. And, of course, the Hobbs Lady Eagles, after last night's win, punched their ticket, had to play Carlsbad of all teams the 4th time, got the win, and they're going to have a game against the Quay. We'll have that tomorrow at 11:30, and that'll be on our sister station, 100.5 The Eagle, HobbsAmerica.com, and not YouTube, but HobbsAmerica.com for audio only. We can't do video on those games.
Yeah. It's going to be a great game. Girls are going up there. It's a venue that they're used to. These girls have been there once before. They like playing in that gym, and it'll be a fun game.
So we're getting ready for the second half action. We'll take a final 30-second break and come back on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Eagles down by 7.
Good, Claire. Ten. 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 34-27 your scores. The third quarter gets underway. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Ty Friend.
Atrisco basketball inbound to the backcourt, coming in to Chris Parra as he takes on the other number 10, Mr. Mackey for the Eagles. Uses up his dribble. Bounce pass back door to flex off his teammate Mendoza. Gets it back, but lost it to Aaron Mora. That's turnover number 7. Throws it ahead to Mackey. Trips in the lane. Passes it back door to Katre Morgan. He gets blocked from behind by 2 defenders. And boy, Mackey took a deadly spill there. You know he's already coming back from the injury, Coach.
Yeah, you know, he tweaked that leg right there. You want to make sure he gets up quick.
That's the second time I've seen somebody slip at the Hobbs Eagles side of the gym. Inbound to Mora, double clutch, strip from behind, and out to the races coming are the Jaguars. Latavius Morris comes down the lane to Wade. He lays it on the left with a finger roll and scores. He's got 3 points, 36-27. Eagles down by 9. This is their biggest deficit of the ball game. Have not had a lead in this contest. Give it into Mora on the right elbow, pivoting, throws it up top to Jalen Gore, swing it left to Mackey. Mackey trying to move the offense, back up top to Gore. He'll back it out. Eagles not getting any motion on this offense. Gets a screen up top from Mora. Dribbles through the pressure on the weave. Shot from the free throw line. Nice fade. It rolls around the rim and good for Jalen Gore. And Gore now with 10 points to lead the Eagles. Double digits. Hobbs down by 7. 36-29. Dribbling now with the crossovers. Morris in the front court taking on Gore. Unloads to the far sideline to Renfro. Over to right to Wade. He lost the ball in the air. He got it back to himself. Hands it off behind to Parra down the lane. Jump stop, free throw, fade away, and swishes it. Boy, he got lucky on that one and put a little hand in the face of Mackey that time. He's got 9 points. 38-29 in the front court. In the corner is Ramos. Bounce pass to Moore on the right block. Up top to Jalen Gore for 3 and swishes the net. Jalen Gore with a critical tray there. He's got 13, 5 points here in the third. Eagles down by 6, 38-32.
Gore's starting to heat up right now. That's going to be good.
Latavius Moore passes into the front court to Renfro. Top of the circle against Ramos. Coming to get on the left wing is Parra. That's a kid they need to shut down. He'll back it out to the timeline as Mackey will step out on him, waiting for a screen from Wade near that time stripe. Wade's trying to get it on both sides of the screen. Dribbles to the right wing, continuing his power with the one-hand pass the right side to Renfro. Back deep, a dangerous throw, almost lost it as Morris. He stops in the free throw line off the dribble, fires up a J, no good. Rebound for Morgan at the free throw line, his first. Tries to throw it ahead. Mackey gets knocked to the floor at the other end, no call. A pickoff for Atrisco, the 8th turnover. Pass to the right wing, 3 on the way for Renfro's no good. And there's Mr. Morgan again for another rebound. He's got 2.
Trailing by 6, need a basket here.
Over to Ramos in the left wing, fakes a 3 down the lane, double clutch over the front of the rim, and it rolls off the right side, but he'll get 2 free throws. Thought that thing was going to drop that time. They do call the foul on Atrisco. Charged to Wade, that's a good number there, his 3rd, and the first team foul here in the second half.
Reddy has a choice to make right now. Does he risk leaving Wade in there, or does he take him out and risk more taking over the game?
Ramos is 73% free throw shooter on the season. He's yet to shoot a free throw and gets one there. He's got 8 points. 38-33. Hobbs down by 5 with 5:35 remaining here in the third quarter.
And here comes the sub.
Yeah, we'll see who he comes in for, though. Not quite sure yet as he comes on the court. That's Aiden Platero as he comes in for Colby Wade. Wade has not scored in this game yet, Coach, and that's not all because of foul problems. They only had 2 in the first half, which is not enough to bench you the whole half.
He did have that layup as he jumped to the basket there a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right. That's the first of the game, though. Second free throw, no good, and it's ripped down hard by the guard. That's Chris Parra's 4th rebound. Coming across the timeline to catch the pass is Morris. Pass to the right wing to Renfro. And they're going to keep it out on the perimeter, back to the timeline to Parra to run some clock. Coming to get on the far sideline is Morris. Underhands it back to the time stripe to Parra in front of the scores table left. He'll zigzag back to the right, middle of the court now. Bounce pass on the high post left, going to backdoor Platero. Gets it down low and laying it over the left rim is Morris. He's got 5 points. Eagles not getting that lane clogged up. 40-33. Here comes Ramos to the other end, down the right lane. He cradles it and lays it on the right glass. So Ramos answering up on that one. He's got 10. 40-35. Eagles down by 5. 4:50 left, third quarter. Coming across Atrisco's Morris. Top of the circle against Mora. Big size differential here, about 6 or 7 inches, as Mora has on the guard at the timeline now. Coming to get a screen right is Platero. Ramos will pick him up, and they're going to call a body foul on the reach. And Ramos slapped his hands at the official after a foul call, and then throws a hard shot to the ref's chest. He better be careful.
Yeah, a little emotional there. Really didn't get a whole lot of body on him. He was trying to back off. And just with a small collision there. That's normally not called. I think that's what his frustration's from.
It'll be Jaguar basketball on the near sideline to inbound Javier Mendoza as Morgan tries to slap the inbound play. Out to check it back to the deep backcourt to Parra. Van Landingham checked on for the Eagles. He'll guard him at half court with 4:30 left third quarter. Hobbs down 40-35. Parra will bring it across. Bounce pass to the free throw line to Renfro. Goes down strong, goes up high over the rim and puts it through for 2. Good pump fake on that one by Renfro. He's got 14.
Those backdoor cuts are getting us every time. They sure know how to play that.
7-point Jaguar lead. Jalen Gore in the front court. Screen left from Mora, top of the arc. Gives a one-hand over to Ramos, right wing. His three is nothing but net. Way outside NBA range that time for Ramos. No defender on him whatsoever. He's got 13. 42-38. Eagles are not going to go away in this one. Down by 4 with 3:55 left third quarter. In the front court, Parra, guarded by Van Landingham. Stop and go dribble. Bumps into Van Landingham. I think Van Landingham is going to get the foul there, and it's not giving him enough cushion, and that's going to cost him some more fouls. Now we got a lot of talking going on after the play, Coach.
Yeah, both players are jawing each other. They're trying to keep them separated.
Referees are starting to come in the lane. We got players clapping in each other's faces, which never helps the cause. Ronnie Ross returns on the court for the Eagles. Now the officials are going to stop the action and talk to the scores table. I think they might have changed the foul call there.
They did.
That's going to go against Van Landingham, which was what we thought to begin with. I'm not sure if they just had a wrong number shown to the table.
This crew right here seems to be losing a little bit of this game.
Jaguars will inbound to the right corner and put up to the top now to Mendoza. Back to the corner right. 3 on the way for Parra. Hard off the back rim. No good. Jalen Gore picks up his 5th rebound, and he'll bring it across the timeline off the dribble. Hobbs down by 4, 42-38. Screen left for Mora, top of the arc. Shot from 3, left. It's way off the back of the rim. Hit down by Atrisco on the left baseline, out of bounds, trying to get a rebound out there, but not getting a grasp on it was Morris. Hobbs' ball underneath the left side.
You're the stat man. How many threes they hit in the third quarter?
To double check. Yeah, that's correct. They had 5 at halftime, though, which was 2 more than the Eagles.
Yeah, but here they are. They're shooting the same shots, but they're not falling here in the second half.
Hobbs has evened up the threes with 2 of their own in the third quarter. 42-38 inside to Ross. Scoop shot left. Comes off the back of the rim. Tipped up by Mora on the right side to put it through. Mora with 6 points and 4 rebounds. 42-40, the closest it's been since the early part of the first quarter.
And here comes the 6 man on its feet.
Boy, they're getting loud out here, and Coach Heredia doesn't like it. He wants to stop the action and call the timeout. I think you get the crowd into this game. It's going to be a big thing. 42-40, Atrisco by the deuce. We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
You're clear. $15. $5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 42-40. The Eagles only trail by 2. They're back in this one. 3:15 left here in the third. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Ty Friend.
Hobbs down by 2, 42-40. But they're now out rebounding Atrisco 15-12. But they like to get more points on the scoreboard. The inbound of the backcourt is stolen by Van Landingham. Ball loose and pulled down by Ronnie Ross. That'll be the 8th turnover. Eagles can tie it or take the lead. Jalen Gore gets a pass in the front court. He's going to put on the brakes and slow it down to get the offense moving. 3 minutes left third. Hobbs down by 2. Stop and go. Top of the circle to the free throw. Fade away. Right elbow. Fade away. Jay, it counted. We're tied up. Jalen Gore with a bucket. He's got 15. 42 all. That's the Hobbs Eagle mojo, Coach.
There it is, third quarter. The poison's starting to set, and we're back in this game.
Chris Parra gets the screen on the near side. He'll continue down the lane, fakes a shot from the free throw, and then fade away. The shot off the front of the rim. Van Landingham trying to save it, volleyball on it. Referees are looking at each other. Who's going to make the call? It's going to be off Van Landingham.
Yeah, it is, but I didn't actually see anybody make the call. They just kind of looked around, and everybody started setting up.
Inbound will be Chris Parr on the left base, sends it to the left corner, wide open. Mendoza fakes a three, dribbles to the free throw line, backs out, top of the arc, stop and go, down the lane, leads and shoots and swishes it from the left block. Mendoza with 14. Him and Renfro both with 14 apiece for Atrisco. In the front court comes Jalen Gore with the crossover, top of the arc, fades with a three off the front of the rim, pulled down hard underneath the hoop by Atrisco. That's Renfro, 7th board. Throws it across the timeline, right side to Pacheco. One hands it over to right to Renfro. Back up top to reset to Parra, guarded by Van Landingham with 2:05 left, third quarter. Eagles down by 2. Backs it out to the timeline to Parra, near side right. Gets a screen from behind by Platero. Stop and go, right block, kicks it up to Platero, open for a tray, and nails it. You mentioned it. They could get those from wide open, Coach, as Platero gets the bucket. And that will be his first points of the ball game. The 6th tray of the contest, only the first of the second half, though. 47-42, Hobbs down by 5. In the front court, it's Ramos. Cradles, lost the ball on the left wing, gets bodied into, no call. Hitting him hard that time was Renfro. Spins down the lane, reverse layup on the right side. They're going to call the foul on the drive, and Coach Reeves wants a continuation, but unfortunately not the NBA.
Yeah, and of course, unlike the Atrisco coach would come all the way on the floor screaming at people, the ref ran over and immediately got into Coach Reeves' face as he's sitting there asking for the call.
That's the second on Mendoza, second team foul against the Jaguars. Ramos will pounce it in, backdoor, there's Trey Morgan, glancing it off the glass right side and putting it through. Trey now has his first bucket of the ball game, and we are 47-44, a 3-point Atrisco lead with 1:23 left, third quarter. In the front court is Pacheco, he'll slow it down. Guarded by Jalen Gore at the time stripe. He's just going to hold it out there in the logo of the Eagles. Puts a high pass over to Mendoza left wing with 1:13. Holds the ball against Ross. Up top to Platero. Back to the right side to Pacheco. He'll back it out, stop and go. Taking on Jalen Gore to the right base. Leans and shoots. They call the body foul. I think they're going to call this a shooting foul. He leaned towards the defender, Jalen Gore. We're going to see if they call it 2 shots, and yes, they do. I don't think that's been consistent. We saw the other end. They call it on the drive.
Yeah, I've got my hands there. Why wasn't that on the floor? He hadn't jumped yet, but then they take away Ramos on the other end.
Foul on Jalen Gore, his first, third team foul. Is on the line, goes Pacheco, and he swishes it. He's got 3 points, and now Aaron Mora steps back on the court for the Eagles as Ronnie Ross takes a breather.
And here we haven't seen Wade come back on the floor in a while. This might be Mora's chance to take over.
Trisco 6 of 7 from the charity stripe, so they're doing pretty well on the free throw line. The second one is good as it wobbles around the rim. 4 points for Pacheco. 49-44, Eagles down by 5 with 58 seconds left in the third. Mackey in the top of the arc, the quarterfinals of the 5A state basketball tournament. To Morgan on the right elbow, he pivots, kicks it to Mackey at the free throw line, spins down the left lane, leads and shoots, and they call the foul. Glances off the front of the rim, thought that thing was going to drop there, but the referees are starting to tighten it up there at the perimeter as they get the foul on Pacheco, his first, third team foul on the Jaguars.
And that was a nice move by Mackey, sealing him off, getting the spin, getting him in the air, and drawing the foul.
Mackey 1 for 2 from the line. Eagles at 4 for 6 at halftime for 66%. They missed one or two since that time with Ramos. Free throw up and good for Mackey. He's got 2 points.
Mackey is one of these X factors in the game right now. He has been absolutely a thorn in the side, but hasn't slowed them down much. They are getting points from their guards out there.
49-45, pinning this second free throw for Mackey. Hard off the back of the rim, doesn't get it to drop. Jumping high underneath the hoop that time was Renfro for his 8th rebound. Back deep to the guard, Parra. Swings it right side, wide open Pacheco, and the defense is going to back up in half-court style here for the Eagles. 37 seconds left in the third. Hobbs down by 4, 49-45. Crossover move for Pacheco, trying to get more out there on him. The big kid's going to step out to take on the guard. Slides to the top of the arc, backs it out with 26. Now he's going to drive with a crossover to the free throw line. Backdoor pass on the bouncer left side to Mendoza, goes to rack and scores a lefty. Actually, that was Parra, and he screams in the Hobbs Eagle defender's face against Jalen Gore. They don't call a tech on that when they stop the action and warn him.
And they don't even give him a warning for delay a game there.
Wait a second. Now the official's stopping the play in the backcourt. That's Parra's 11th point. Why are they stopping at that time?
Now they're letting Atrisco set up a press.
They're saying the Eagles have the full baseline to run up and down, but they already put the ball in play. I don't know why they brought it back there. Inbound to Gore in the left corner to Mackey at the timeline. Gets a double team pressure, gets across, up the near side, triple team. Back to Gore, but a bad pass at the time stripe. Ripped away and stolen by Renfro. Lays it on the right side with 2 hands and scores. He's got 16, and now that's 9 Eagle turnovers. They're down by 8. Ramos will shoot a 3 at the buzzer from the right side. It drops underneath the hoop, no good. But the Hobbs Eagles back down to an 8-point deficit now after getting this game tied up at one point in the third quarter. We'll take a 60-second break and come back live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube.
You're clear. $30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena. 53-45. Atrisco leads your Eagles. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Ty Friend.
8-point deficit for Hobbs in terms of point production. Atrisco Heritage, 16 for Renfro, 14 for Mendoza. And for your Hobbs Eagles, 15 for Gore, 13 for Ramos. Eagle basketball to start the fourth. Ramos drives to the left wing, comes down the lane, throws the ball up in the air and kind of tips it towards the hole. He lost the ball for a minute. Ramos scores over the front of the iron as now he has 15 to tie up Gore. 53-47, Eagles down by 6. Atrisco in the front court. Morris with the ball, gives it back to the timeline to Renfro, guarded by Jalen Gore, giving him a little bit of a cushion there at the time stripe. Uses up the dribble and pass off to the right to Parra, well outside the perimeter. Crossover move to the free throw line, jump stop left elbow, kick it left wing to Morris. Running some clock, top of the circle now off the dribble here in the fourth. One hand bounce pass down the paint to Wade, lost the ball as Morgan gets it, gets flattened on the floor, no call. Morgan gets the steal, and that'll be the ninth turnover for the Jaguars. In the front court to Ramos, left wing, down low to Mackey, wide open. Reverse layup underneath the hoop, left to right, it scores. Ball round around the rim for just a minute. He's got 4 points.
Timeout on the floor. Coach Reeves wants to stop it and set up the press here.
53-49. The Eagles are down by 4, but Coach, you got to remember one thing, though. Atrisco is 7 of 8 from the line. We can't get too slappy with the hands.
Yeah, that's true. And right now, it's only 3-3 on the fouls. We have 3 fouls to give before they are shooting free throws. So we can be aggressive for a bit, but we definitely got to be smart about it. Try to steal the passes, not the dribble.
Marquise Renfro, 16 for the Jaguars. Javier Mendoza has 14, and Chris Parra with 11. So 3 in double digits for 41 combined points of the 53 for Atrisco. For your Hobbs Eagles, tied up at 15, Jesus Ramos and Jalen Gore. Those combined for 30 of the 49 Eagles points. So 2 guys on each team are really extending themselves in terms of scoring.
You know what they're doing, though, they're trying to get a switch off, and Mora's having to guard guards out there, and he can't get the closeout to get the 5 seconds going, and that allows Atrisco to run clock. So they're trying to take advantage of the big man out there.
Right now, 6 3-pointers for Atrisco, 5 for the Hobbs Eagles. Been close all night from the outside, but as you mentioned at halftime, Coach, the spigot has kind of dried up a little bit for Atrisco.
Yeah, it has. They're not getting the threes like they did. They had that 1 3 from dead away, but anything that they've shot from the corner has not been good.
It will be Atrisco basketball with 7:07 left, fourth quarter. They're up by 4 on their baseline of the right base. Morris trying to get the inbound swat, inbound to Ray to the right corner. Throws it to the timeline, bring it across uncontested as Parra. No-look pass back door to Renfro, and he hands it off to the guard in the paint to dribble out towards the timeline. They're getting very patient on offense here are the Jaguars. Coming back to get the ball on the left side of the mid-stripe is Renfro. Coming back to get it again, Morris on the right side of the half-court stripe as Jalen Gore will pick him up. 6:40 left in the game, a 4-point Atrisco lead. Parra is going to hippity-hop back to catch the pass and gets a screen near the timeline from Wade, but doesn't use it. A lot of time running here. Coming across the far side is Morris to catch a pass in front of the scores table left wing. And he's about 20 feet ahead of the three-point line, or behind, I should say. Just going to be very patient as Wade will get the ball on the left wing. Hands it back to Morris at the time stripe. They're taking the air out of the basketball. Stop and go for the left wing for Morris. He'll back it out. Coming behind on the handoff is Renfro. And he'll dribble back to the time stripe on the Hobbs Eagle logo. Uses up his dribble. Sends it over to the near side to Para, guarded by Mackey. Mackey with the chest up. Pass back to the timeline to Morris. Eagle fans getting very impatient here. Want to steal. He'll drive the lane right side. A little windmill. Tries to pass back. They're going to call the body foul on Mackey. I don't think you could call that a shooting foul. He was trying to pass on that one.
Yeah, let's see if they line him up. He was backwards to the basket. How do you even call that a shot?
That's a second on Mackey, 14th foul. And he was backpedaling. Looked like he was trying to throw out to the right corner there. And that will put the 14th foul on the Eagles. And on the line, shooting 2 is Morris. He's 1 for 2 on the stripe, and ricocheted off the rim right side, no good. They were 7 of 8, now 7 of 9 from the charity stripe. And he's the only guy that's missed 2 of them for this Atrisco Heritage team.
And he is the freshman.
The second shot is bouncing off the right again. Pulled down by Mackey, or Catre Morgan, I should say. That's his third. Throws it down court to Mackey in the right corner. He'll back it out on the right wing. 5:51 remaining. Eagles up, down by 4. Top of the circle, sliding right to left now. Gives it off to Ramos on the near side in front of the student section. Now top of the circle himself. Crossover, spins at the free throw line. Stop and go. 2 defenders. Kick right corner to back. He drives base. Double clutch off the glass and scores from the block. Beautiful body control in the air for Mackey. He's got 6. It's a 2-point ball game.
Here comes the pressure.
Inbound to Mendoza. Kicks it far right or far left to Morris, and he'll slow it up now. Picking up on D is Ramos at the timeline. Eagles back off. Ramos tries to slide underneath him, misses him. 3 on the way for Morris, top of the circle, and makes him pay with a tray.
And then he stands there holding his hand in the air, kind of showing off to the crowd.
That's a 7 3-pointer for the Jaguars. 9 points for Morris. 56-51. Here comes Jalen Gore in the front court on the right wing. 5 minutes remaining, and the Eagles down by 5 in the quarterfinals. Top of the circle to the free throw line. A runner shot is good. Ricocheting around the rim and dropping through for Jalen Gore. He's got 17, his first points of the fourth. We're down to a 3-point game. Inbound to the left of the paint to Morris in the backcourt. He'll be guarded by Jalen Gore. 4-3 foul count. 1 more for the Eagles at this point with 4:40 remaining. Throws it across the timeline to Renfro on the left wing, guarded by Ramos. Slides it up top of the pass to Mendoza. He's going to hold on to it. Handoff on the near sideline off the dribble to Morris. Morris guarded by Gore, top of the circle. He'll back it out, waiting for a screen from Wade. Put to the right wing, crossover up top to Wade. He's going to spot up an NBA 3 off the back of the rim. I don't think they needed that one. Morgan gets it off the high rebound, coming to the free throw line, his 4th board. Across to Gore in the front court, down by 3 with 4:15 remaining. It's an exciting quarterfinal game from Tasker Arena. Top of the circle, Jalen Gore, stop and go. Down the lane, a runner shot, count it! And the official's going to call a foul at the free throw line on the drive instead of the shot. It looked like he extended in the air that time, Coach.
What is the difference? They hit us while we're shooting, no call. They get the free throws. I don't get it.
Second on Para. The Hobbs Eagle fans erupting. That's a 14th foul, and he's getting nothing out of it because it wasn't a one-on-one bonus yet. Only 4 fouls apiece for the teams at this point. Van Landingham checks in, gets it to Gore on the far right of the perimeter. 4 minutes remaining in the game. Hobbs down by 3, 56-53. Guarded up top by Pacheco. Drives the lane, another body foul called at the free throw line. This time pretty easy to get that one, and that will be called against Pacheco, his 2nd. So Hobbs getting very close to getting some bonus here, but they only have 5 against the Jaguar fouls at this point.
And Pacheco there, he's throwing his hands up, wondering why he got called.
We got a timeout at the other end. Coach Steve Heredia wants to talk about how they're going to deal with the Eagles trying to get themselves more and more foul opportunities and free throws. 3:59 remaining in the fourth. It's Atrisco 56, your Hobbs Eagles 53. Don't miss out on this one. A nail biter from Tasker in 30.
You're clear. $15. 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
It's a 3-point ball game. Just under 4 minutes to play here in the fourth. Hobbs has the ball. And here's the voice of the Eagles, Ty Friend.
Both teams back on the court after the timeout. Van Landingham inbounds to Jalen Gore. Also in the game, Mackey, Morgan, and Mora. Gore on the left wing, crossover move, shot from 3 on the left side, double pump off the front of the rim, no good. A battle for the boards. Van Landingham tried to go over the back of Morgan, his own teammate, to try to get it. Unfortunately, tips it out. It will be Atrisco basketball on the left baseline of their backcourt. Eagles going to get man-to-man pressure, and Van Landingham is loose, trying to find somebody to guard. It comes into the big kid in the left corner, Wade. Cross-court pass, a dangerous one to Pacheco. He'll take on Mackey with the dribble. 3:40 left in the contest, at least regulation, a 3-point Eagle deficit. To the right wing, back deep to the timeline to Para. Still in the front court with the jab step. Van Landingham will pick him up. Slides left with the dribble and unloads to Mendoza. Near the scores table far left. Up top, coming and get it is Renfro. Touch pass to the right wing to Para. Guarded by Van Landingham. Underhands it up top of the circle to Pacheco with 3:18 remaining. One hands it over to the left wing to Mendoza. Guarded by Morgan, putting a hand in the chest. Up top to Wade. Wade no-look pass to the right wing to Mendoza. Guarded by Mackey. To the top of the circle to Para. He'll back it out to the timeline. Showing back to Van Landingham. Crossover move. And we got a whistle underneath. And we got a timeout, I believe. Coach Heredia, Hobbs Eagle fans started screaming like they got a call, but it's going to be a timeout instead, as Coach Heredia really didn't see anything opening up on the offense.
Well, he's about to get the 5-second call. He saw that fifth arm about to come out and the whistle coming. He called the timeout wisely.
We're going to keep it right here at Tasker Arena, 56-53. What's Coach Reeves telling the troops right now with the 3-point deficit?
Well, after the last timeout, I noticed that we tightened the screws in our half-court defense. We're getting out on the perimeter and starting to challenge the passes and the dribbles. Now, they're going to try to take advantage of it with the back-door cuts. We've got to be ready for those, and we've got to be ready to help from the opposite side. When somebody takes a backdoor cut, you got to have the weak side help coming. So we got to play the weak side off a little bit so we can get there.
So you believe that this timeout for Coach Heredia is more of a stop a violation versus a strategy timeout?
Absolutely, without a doubt. He saw that 5th second was coming, and at this point, every possession has become important. He wanted to save the possession. That's what he did.
Meanwhile, tonight, Las Cruces, the number 1 seed, taking on Sandia, number 9. The winner of that game will play the winner of this game in the semifinals. Los Lunas, the number 6 seed, is at La Cueva at Albuquerque, the number 3, for another quarterfinal game. And Carlsbad, who upset they're in their first victory against Rio Rancho, they're taking on Volcano Vista, the number 2 team. Inbound to the backcourt for Atrisco with 3 minutes remaining here in the 4th. In the hands of Para. He's going to be guarded by Van Landingham at the time stripe as he comes across. Bounce pass to right wing to Wade. He pivots. Gives it back to the left side to Para, who stumbles with it. Stop and go baseline left. And Van Landingham chests him from behind for the foul. That's only the 5th on the Eagles. And that for Van Landingham will be his 3rd personal.
That'll leave it up to fouls at 5 apiece at this point. Each team only has 1 foul to give.
Ramos returns on the court as Van Landingham takes a seat. Gets some round of applause from the Hobbs Eagle faithful. Inbounding Atrisco on the far left corner of the front court as they get it back deep to Pacheco near the timeline. Dribbles behind his back with 2:45 remaining. Top of the circle. Slides over to Mendoza right wing, guarded by Mackey. 5-second count is on. He's got the dribble out of it. Lost the ball out of bounds. A nice hand on the ball by Mackey. Knocks it off the knee of Mendoza, who had his head looking everywhere else but where he should have been. That is the 10th Jaguar turnover. Hobbs down by 3 with the possession. 2:35 remaining, 56-53. Jalen Gore in the front court. Stop and go. He'll drive to the left side of the lane. Shot from 10 feet off the glass. It scores. Beautiful follow through for Jalen Gore as he's got 19. We're down to a 1-point deficit with 2:20 remaining, 56-55. In the backcourt, it's Para, guarded by Mackey. Crossover move. Both teams have 5 fouls. Pass to the left wing, jumping for it, Renfro. Cross court right to Mendoza, guarded by Morgan. He'll hold the ball. He's the one that fumbled a minute ago. Looking for help. He'll drive on the near side. Stops. Pass out to the right wing to Para. To the free throw line. To the left side. And there's a shuffle of the feet for Renfro on the travel. I think the pace and offense is starting to get in their head. A turnover, Coach.
And here's the thing. You try to hold the ball late against a team that starts to pressure you, and you're not looking to get to the basket. That's what happened.
11 turnovers for Atrisco. Eagles are down by 1, have not led in this game. A 2-3 extended zone to Ramos on the right wing. Gets stripped, falls to the floor. He was looking too far ahead that time and taken away by Atrisco on the pick by Para. 10th Eagle turnover. Para in the front court. That was the shot that they needed, Coach, right there. Unloads to the right wing to Pacheco. He'll drive the lane as Mackey fell down. Reverse layup on the right. The foul. No, they don't call the foul. Count the basket for Pacheco. And it's thrown ahead to Mora, who gets it taken away at the other end. So Eagles have back-to-back turnovers falling apart here. They got to get their heads back in the game. That's their 11th turnover. Ball pass to the near side to Parr in the front court. Dribbling behind his back against Morgan. To the free throw line. Morgan has to push to stop the clock. So Katre Morgan now with 4 personals, 6 team fouls, still not the bonus, and Hobbs had a couple of chances, Coach.
Yeah, they did right there, and Ramos couldn't keep the ball in his hands, and then you try to go to the big man Mora on the run, and unfortunately couldn't come down with that long pass.
Eagles leave the guard open in the backcourt for the inbound to Para. He'll bring it across the timeline against Morgan with 1:15 remaining. Eagles down by 3. A screen on the far side. And zigzagging around with the dribbles, Para. Bounce pass to half court, almost kicked in the backcourt by Renfro. He's able to retain it and gives it off to Pacheco on the right wing. Guarded by Jalen Gore. Top of the circle. Stop and go to the left wing. He backs it out with 1 minute remaining. Hobbs down by 3. One hand bounce pass to Mendoza on the near sideline. He's bobbled it a few times. Coming to get it behind him on the near side is Para right. Outside the perimeter. Here comes Morgan. He's going to beat him down the lane. Hippity hop. Rejection by Morgan, but he comes down on the arm after that for the foul. That'll be the 5th on Katre Morgan.
Yeah, and that's going to put him at the free throw line here. And these are going to be big free throws.
7th foul against the Eagles. They got 5 on Morgan. He'll foul out with 2 points and 4 rebounds. But the Eagle fans going to give him a big round of applause for battling it out. And that will put on the line Chris Para. Has yet to shoot a free throw in this ball game, but has not even scored in the second half, Coach. He's only got 11.
Yeah, you know, he had that early on, and all of a sudden he's kind of gone dry.
So some big free throws, though, for the guard, Chris Para, with 46 seconds remaining and a 3-point Atrisco lead. First free throw is up off the front of the rim, back of the rim, and good. And, boy, the crowd got loud on that free throw. That's 12 points now for Para, his first free throw of the ball game. And extends the lead to 4 with 46 seconds left here in the 4th. Winner going to play in the semifinals on Friday. Hobbs trying to get their way back in this game. Second shot good for Para. Got them both. He's got 13. 60-55. Here come the Eagles. Up ahead to Box on the right wing. Hand off to Gore. Right corner. Fadeaway 3 is an air ball. Rebound on the baseline by Wade. He gets knocked to the floor and out of bounds. Looks like they're going to call the bump foul on the Eagles. And that will take it to the other end as the Eagles have just picked up their 8th foul. We got a lot of talking and clapping going on the court, and Atrisco better watch what they're doing, not taunting here. Go to the other end for Wade on the free throws. They got the foul against the Eagles. That's charged to Mora, his first, and the 18th foul. Wade has yet to get a free throw in this game. 2 points, though, and his numbers are way low in this contest. Expected to see him score a lot more than what he has in this one, as we talked about in the pregame show. One of their top scorers in the last 3 ball games, including the district tournament.
Yeah, that is true.
Free throw bouncing around and good for Wade. He's got 3 points and extends it now to 6-point lead for Atrisco. But, of course, the Eagles got some sharpshooters out there. 82 three-pointers for Jalen Gore coming into this game, and quite a handful there for Ramos, too. Second shot for Wade, another bouncer, and it's good as well. He's got 4. 7-point lead. Eagle basketball. Jalen Gore in the front court, down by 7. To the top of the arc against double team pressure. Clock down to 30. Crossover to the right wing. Dumps it down the lane to Ramos. Double clutch off the side. Right glass and scores. Ramos puts it through and gets a clock stop on the timeout. He's got 17 points. It's a 5-point deficit for the Eagles. We'll take a quick 30-second break as Hobbs trails Atrisco 62-57 here at Tasker Arena.
You're clear. $15. Five, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, 62-57, your score. 26 seconds left on the clock here in the 4th. Eagles trail by 5. What do we do here, Ty?
Well, these two coaches are trying to keep their kids calm down. Of course, Atrisco tasting a chance for the semifinals. Don't want to cough the ball up. They gave the ball away a couple of times. The Eagles couldn't take advantage of it. They gave it back again. So that's definitely a problem we've seen going both ways. But a couple of free throws have gotten Atrisco over the hump. And definitely got them a driver's seat at this point, up by 5. Of course, the Eagles got the clock stopped after a score for Ramos on the right side of the paint. Now they're going to have to put on that full court pressure, which they're known for. If any team can get back after that, we know they can. Inbounding on the left base of the backcourt is Mendoza for the Jaguars. The inbound comes in and knocked out off the hands of Para. Mackey gets a piece of it, but they're going to say it went off him last. So right back to that left baseline. Whole Hobbs Eagle bench screaming at the official on that one. Inbounding is Mendoza. Touch pass into Wade. Gets a pivot against Mora. Slides it down the near sideline to Mendoza. He'll dribble across with 18. Guarded by Ramos and a quick grab to stop the clock on the foul. That's his third, 19th foul. That will put free throws on for Atrisco. It will be a 1-on-1 bonus still, as up on the line will be Mendoza. He's not the guy you want up there, though. 4 for 4 on the stripe.
Yeah, and Crowd's not even getting into this yet.
He has not scored in the fourth quarter. Had 14 up to the end of the third. First shot is up, and it's off the left rim. No good. It's taken down by Ramos. comes across the timeline, gets a spin, and then gets fouled, a reach foul there on Parra, and I believe Ramos put on a little of an act job there. He went flipped his head back like he had whiplash and flattened on the floor, and it was a foul, but unfortunately not even a bonus. They get the foul on Parra, his third, and just the 16th foul with all that work.
Still got 14 seconds here, but they need to throw three, and they need it quick.
Inbound to Gore, fadeaway three from the right, off the back of the rim, no good. Ripped down underneath by Renfro, his 9th rebound, and fouled quickly by Mackey to stop the clock. His 3rd personal and the 10th team foul, which is double bonus for the Jaguars.
You know, you got 9 seconds left on the clock at this point. If he makes any of these free throws, it probably takes us out of the possession chances.
Atrisco came in with a 19-8 record, and the Hobbs Eagles at 26-2. As we wait for the free throws here for Renfro, it's off the right rim, no good. So they missed a few here late in the fourth. They had a little bit of a cushion, though. 16 for Renfro so far. That was his first free throw attempt of the ball game, and he'll get one more. He had a couple of trays back in the first quarter. Second shot is off the back of the rim, no good. Chased down by Jalen Gore in the right corner with 8 seconds, and tries to dribble up the court and lost the ball off his own hip out of bounds on the far sideline as he was guarded by Parra pretty close. So that will be the 12th Eagle turnover. Down by 5. Atrisco basketball in the front court. Far left sideline is Mendoza. 6.8 remaining. Throws it in the back court to Pereira. Guarded by Jalen Gore. Reaches out and grabs. And that will stop the clock at 4.3. So Jalen Gore with his 2nd personal. Still in double bonus for the Jaguars, which will send to the line Parra, who is 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. We mentioned in the pregame, Coach, this team has only traveled to Clovis for one tournament and maybe to Rio Rancho a couple times for Cleveland and Rio Rancho from their district, but this is the only other road trip they've had.
Yep, and they traveled well today and made the shots when they had to, caused the turnovers when they had to.
And Parra just made his 3rd free throw in a row here in the 4th quarter. He's got 14 points. He'll get one more. Second shot is up, and it is good. 15 for Parra and a 7-point Atrisco lead with 3 seconds remaining. Jalen Gore get a 3-quarter shot at the buzzer. Hits the glass and no good. So Atrisco comes to town and unfortunately wins his quarterfinal matchup over the Hobbs Eagles 64-57. Atrisco improves to 20-8 on the season as the Eagles will finish their season at home at 26-3. We'll take a 3-minute break and come back with the Hobbs Eagle postgame show on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube.
You're clear. Two minutes. One minute. 30.
One more 30, please.
$30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena as the Eagles fall to Atrisco Heritage in a game that was back and forth tie. We went, up and down the court with them for quite a bit of time, but Atrisco seemed to hit the shots when it mattered.
Yeah, Eagles were down by 7 at the half. It seemed like it was 7, 8 points for quite a bit of that second half of action. Eagles had a chance to take the lead towards the end there and tied a few times, and a couple of turnovers cost them, and some long passes and some falling on the floor and fumbles kind of got people a little bit unnerved there, and unfortunately could not take advantage of that late charge to try to get back in this one. So again, 7-point loss for the Eagles. They finished the season at 26-3, and Atrisco improves to 20-8. They will go on to play either Las Cruces High or Sandia. Do you have a final on that one yet? Or?
They were just getting started. They didn't start until
7
o'clock
That's right.
tonight. And last score I had, Sandia was actually leading that game 9-8.
Okay, so very close one up down in Las Cruces tonight. They are the number 1 seed, the Las Cruces Dogs. Let's look at the numbers in this one, though, for the first Atrisco Heritage squad, the Jaguars. They finished with 3 in double figures, almost had 4. Marquise Renfro with 16 points, also 9 rebounds, close to a double-double for him. Had a couple of trays in the game as well and went 0 for 2 from the charity stripe. Other scores, Chris Parra, 15 points, 4 for 4 for free throws in the fourth quarter alone. Had a tray in the game. Javier Mendoza finished with 14 points. He had a couple of trays himself and was 4 of 5 from the charity stripe. So lots of opportunities for him to get some free throws in this ball game. So those 3 scorers in double figures for 45 of their total 64 points in this ball game. Latavius Moore finishing with 9 points. He was 2 for 4 from the line, had a tray as well. Tony Pacheco coming off the bench for 6 points, 2 for 2 free throw shooting. And let's see if anybody else gets on there. Aiden Platero had a tray in the ball game as well for 3. Colby Wade, pretty low scoring for the big man. He had 4 points, 2 for 2 on the line, but had some early fouls that kind of cost him some time as they got into the third quarter. 6 scores in the game for Atrisco. They were 14 of 18 from the line for 77%. They had a total of only 16 rebounds, but you got to remember this game, a lot of air taken out of the basketball, especially for Atrisco, running a lot of clock. So, and then just taking here and there shots. So basically didn't get a lot of crashes, but they still get 16. Out rebounded the Eagles 16-15. If you can believe those numbers, that's pretty low, low that I've seen. And 11 turnovers in this game, 12 for the Eagles, so pretty close in that stat.
Both teams actually shot the ball pretty well. It comes down to a little bit of strategy. They were able to hold the ball and burn the clock. And there's a lot of people out there that want a shot clock in high school to prevent something like that. But if you get out there and play defense, you can counter it. We just weren't able to get enough steals on the perimeter to make that a factor tonight.
Let me update the free throws. I had missed one here. I just noticed 14 of 19 were the Jaguars in this ball game. Take a look at the Hobbs Eagles. They do get a couple of guys in double digits. Jalen Gore finishes up his career with 19 points, 3 trays in the contest, and also had 5 rebounds. Of course, he is the leader in terms of three-point shots. He'll finish the season with 85 this year, so he's definitely a big-time outside shooter and continues to move on to Oklahoma to play some college ball next season. Jesus Ramos finishing with 17 points. He had a couple of trays himself with 1 of 2 from the line and had 3 rebounds for the Eagles. So those 2 kids were combined for 36 of the Eagles' 57 points, and very critical to keep it in this ball game. Big drop-off, though, in scoring after that. Michael Mackey was 6 points. He was 2 for 4 on the line. Another 6 for Aaron Moore, who had a quiet game in this one, had 4 rebounds along with that. 5 for Tyler Box, all 5 of those points in the second quarter. He was 3 for 4 from the line for 75%. Ronnie Ross hit a bucket for 2 and a rebound. Katre Morgan, did foul out of the game in the fourth quarter. He only finished with 2 points, but did have 4 rebounds and battling hard for the boards. So the Eagles finished with 7 players scoring. I think one of the problems there was we didn't get a lot of bench help in terms of point production in this ball game, and that kind of cost him towards the end.
Yeah, and, we actually had to go to the bench early with the foul trouble on Morgan. We actually did go to the bench quite early. Didn't get a lot of production there, but there wasn't a lot of time. It was actually a short game. And, yeah, I know the game's the same length, but when the ball's being passed in the perimeter, and we did it too, because we were setting up against that zone and we didn't quite get movement right away. We kind of backed out, waited, set up our offense. That actually shortened the game for us.
Eagles 6 of 10 from the line, 60%. They only had 3 free throw shooters in the contest, Jesus Ramos, Tyler Box, and Michael Mackey. So not a lot of opportunities there for Hobbs to get free shots there on the free throw line. The Eagles out-rebounded Atrisco 18-16 in this ball game. 5 for Jalen Gore, 4 for Mora, and 3 for Jesus Ramos. 12 turnovers for the Eagles, 11 for Atrisco. So that's the numbers of the ball game. The biggest lead for the Jaguars was 9 in this game. Eagles did not have a lead in this contest, but were getting very close to taking a lead, or at least tying the ball game late, but a couple of turnovers did them in.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, we know that sometimes we get out to a little bit of a shaky start because the other teams can hit some shots early, but trailing 9-2, that was hard to come back from. We never really quite got back into the game, even when we trailed by 2. It wasn't as if the momentum completely shifted. They were still hitting shots at that point, and we just were unfortunately unable to sustain.
Coach, let me run through the players in terms of the seniors. Michael Mackey, of course. No, he's not a senior. He's a junior, excuse me. Samaje Williams, one of the point guards for the Eagles. We'll talk about all these as a group here. Jesus Ramos, Ronnie Ross, Jalen Gore, Tyler Box, Katre Morgan, Aaron Mora, and Gilberto Miranda. I mean, these guys, a lot of them are big-time scorers. Aaron Mora, for example, led the team through a lot of the season in scoring. He was second at the end of this game, a 19.4 a contest. Led the team in rebounds. Of course, he's going to be graduating, which is going to be some big shoes to fill for him. Jalen Gore, the big three-point shooter, he mentioned 85 on the year. He was number 1 in steals and assists through much of the season, so he definitely is going to be a sore miss. Jesus Ramos had some big games towards the end of the season, got himself back a starting position. Definitely is one of the threats out there, second leading in terms of three-pointers and a lot of steals at the end of the season as well. So big names there. Katre Morgan, one of those thrasher type slashers, and gets on the floor, battles hard for it. I mean, these guys are definitely going to be people to miss. Ronnie Ross coming off the bench, Samaje Williams getting some spot time in the season. Tyler Box, kind of a light bulb out there is, when the team might be down a little bit, he comes out and does the transition game and gets kind of scrappy for the Eagles. So lots of different players that you're going to have to make some decisions about here and who's going to step up.
Yeah, and that Coach Reeves is going to have that summer program and that night program going. All these kids are going to get a lot of basketball. He's going to get a lot of time looking at these kids, and he's going to know them very well before next season starts, especially with that JV coming up, and there may be some freshmen that can make an impact. And
some guys returning, not a lot to speak of. Michael Mackey, of course, he went down injured, came back the last couple of games. He's a junior coming into senior next year. Ethan Van Landingham, a very scrappy defensive player. Jordan Chisholm, Nick Pena, and Chris Archibald didn't see a lot of time in the postseason, but they were just add-ons as the season started to end. So definitely some things to build on, and you mentioned the JV too. We'll be glad to see what we got coming back. Eagles finish the season at 26-3. Again, nothing to sneeze at there, and just a little hair getting close to that semifinal game next week, or Thursday, or Friday, I should say.
Sometimes these things happen. You have a great season. You think you're going to ride it a little further, and the ball just doesn't bounce your way on a night, and that's what happened tonight.
64-57 the final as Atrisco Heritage gets the win here on the road at Task Arena. Now tomorrow there is one lone Lee County team at state still, the semifinals, Hobbs Lady Eagles. They will be at the pit tomorrow at 11:30. We'll be there live on our sister station, 100.5 The Eagle. Also audio on HobbsAmerica.com. Unfortunately, we cannot provide video due to some NMAA rules on that. But they're taking on the La Cueva squad, Coach, coming in with a 21-6 record. Of course, the Lady Eagles finished up third in the state in the last Max Preps poll. La Cueva at number 4, so they're neck and neck in terms of that. The La Cueva squad averages 58.7 points a game overall. Hobbs at 54. But La Cueva gives up 42, and the Lady Eagles only give up 36. So offense plus for La Cueva, defense plus for the Lady Eagles. big battle tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game. I tell you what, our girls are going to get some great experience and going to get to go and play in that great venue up there in Albuquerque, the Pit. It's going to be fun day of basketball.
Of course, Coach Joey Carpenter's had a couple of championships under his belt since he's been here with the Hobbs Lady Eagles, going back to 2018, winning it over Cibola 64-55, and then 2020, the championship over Volcano Vista 58-43. So those two championships under his belt, one team at 30-2, the other team at 29-1, and has also been there a couple more times in 2019 and 2021 last year. That half-court shot that won it for Volcano Vista. It wasn't funny, but it was a deadly situation there, and Volcano Vista is still way up on the top of the chart in terms of the rankings at this point. They're still in the tournament. So if anybody can get another shot at it, of course, another championship for Coach there in Roswell before he came here. So he's got the resume for this thing, and he seems to always be at ease. Even the team has been down some games, like Carlsbad a few years ago, on the wire. Big steal at half court, go down and score and win that one too to go into the next round. But this team hopefully can come up. They've had a player go down early in the season and made some adjustments, and they're back at the top spots again.
Yeah, and you know what? I think going in, typically speaking, we've rode our guards a long way. And I think this is going to be the year we're going to have to ride our posts a long way. I think that we have a post advantage against most teams, and that's going to have to be a major factor in these games as we go forward in Albuquerque.
So tomorrow, the Hobbs Lady Eagles on the road at the Pit at UNM. We'll be there for a pregame at 11:15, tip-off at 11:30, depending on the starts of the games before that. That'll be on our sister station one more time, 100.5 The Eagle, HobbsAmerica.com, both audio broadcasts for that, so make sure you tune us in. We mentioned earlier, Coach, before we wrap it up here, Jal Panthers losing by 1 point in boys action tonight to Rehoboth Christian there near Gallup. Boy, that's a screeching halt to their season, but still a very exciting season for the Panthers.
Yeah, it was. I got another score, and I just throw it out because they're in our district. Carlsbad was going up there to play number 2,
Volcano
Vista, and it was 38-10 at halftime, Volcano Vista.
Well, yeah, that's a tough road to hoe, and Volcano Vista has been ranked 1 most of the year, and Las Cruces flip-flopped that here at the end. So anyway, that's it for our broadcast this season for the Hobbs Eagles. Hopefully you enjoyed everything we had to offer, video, audio. A lot of people involved. I'd like to thank Allison Friend and Jessica Friend for doing our scores tonight. We got Evie, of course, Stuber on the camera. We got her sister, Tiffany Stuber, back at the station. It's been a great wrap-up to the season, Coach, and we'll be doing it again tomorrow for the ladies.
Sounds good. I'll see you there.
Have a great night out there, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow from the UNM Pit in Albuquerque.
You're clear.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks a lot, Tip.
Night.
See you.
The Pit doesn't have a sponsor anymore?